All right. So one of my favorite pastimes to do when I'm just sitting around doing nothing, maybe reading or working on something that is like my brain's active but my body's just sitting, is to foam roll my calves. I find it incredibly helpful for the whole body. They are just areas of the body that don't really get a ton of attention. Like if we go in for a massage, typically it's not like can you spend a lot of time on my feet and on my legs. But they do a lot for us and they need more attention than they get. So um, this is my favorite thing. And I will literally just spend like 2 hours reading, foam rolling my calves and legs. So I find that I actually like to sit up against something. Don't have to, but usually I'm, reading or laptoping while I do this. And I'm lazy. So I like to sit up while I do it. And we're essentially just gonna take the foam roll, put it in under the ankle and point and flex a couple times. I mean, the main movements are point and flex and then roll the ankle in circles. And when you find something interesting, hang out there. But you can internally rotate, externally rotate, and have a grand old time with it. So those are kind of the scope of movement that we're gonna do. I'll lead you through it. We'll start off just pointing and flexing. And you might want to add a little extra weight by putting the other foot on top. Always an option. Very simple, point and flex. And then actually let's stay in a flex and internally rotate, externally rotate. And then point and internally rotate, externally rotate. And then just relax the foot completely and internally rotate, externally rotate. I'm going to get my watch so I can keep track of time. And then give yourself a circle. So you can see why this is very easy to do while you're watching TV. Go in the opposite direction or while you're working. And then we're just going to move the foam roll towards us, just to the next little lump up on the leg. Shut off for a second, just relaxing. And then flex. And flex, internally, externally rotate. And point, internally, externally rotate. And if any way along the way you find a tender spot like I did right there, you can just hang out on it. You can do the same little eraser thing that I've talked about before with the therapy balls. where you just kind of work tiny little movements back and forth, or tiny little, flex and points of the foot, or tiny little circles, whatever feels good in that area to start to release. And then relax the foot completely and internally, externally rotate. And then ankle circles. Switching directions. And then rolling up a little bit. Hanging out. This is where it tends to get real tender. We've got a lot of different muscles connecting right into this area. And then flex and point. Chances are you're actually starting to get fatigued in the top of the shin. And that's great, actually, especially if you've got this other leg on top, because then you're kind of sandwiching and you're working that tissue as well. Kind of flex, internally, externally rotate. But that muscle has a tendency to only get used really under load. So, we're walking up a hill. So it's nice to be without any weight on it, moving it and engaging it. It floods the muscles with blood, which is great because it's a lot of small stuff, tendons, ligaments in there. Point the foot and internally, externally rotate. And because our tendons and ligaments don't get nearly as much blood flow as muscles, which is why when we tear them or injure them, they take so much longer to heal. It's always great when we can pump them up, essentially, when we're not really doing anything. Relax the foot, internally, externally rotate. And a big ankle roll. Switching directions. And then roll up a bit. Flex and point. Flex, internally and externally rotate. Point and internally, externally rotate. And relax the foot, internally, externally rotate. And again, if you've got a tender spot, or for me, it's like thready. So as I roll side to side, it feels like kind of like I'm going over a series of speed bumps. Shouldn't feel like that. That's not what the body likes to be feeling like. but oftentimes does feel like that. Ankle roll. Switching directions. And rolling up. So we're almost at the back of the knee. We just really got two positions left. So here and then right where the calf muscle comes into the back of the knee. So not quite in the back of the knee, but almost there. Starting off with pointing and flexing. And then flexing, internal, external rotation. And pointing, internal, external rotation. Relax the foot. Keep rolling. And then circles. And switch directions. And release. Now we move up. So now we're right where the muscle starts to meet the back of the knee, but not in the back of the knee. And this one usually feels pretty good to just spend a second relaxing into. There's lots of little muscles that all come together here. So this typically is a really nice release. And then starting with the flex and point. Flexing, internal, external rotation. Usually you can get some juicy bits here, maybe some of those little speed bumps. And point and rotate. Relax the foot completely and rotate. And then ankle roll. Switch directions. And then bring the foam roll right into the crease of the knee. Make sure you don't have any additional weight on it, so just the weight of the leg. And we're just going to straighten and relax the leg. I'm not really going to put too much weight there or do too much rolling around. It's more to help just with those tiny little muscles back there, but also tend to get a lot of swelling, especially as we get older in the backs of the knees. And there is a valve for our lymph right there. So this will help with, if you get swollen ankles, opening up behind the knee is really helpful. Flushing, like taking a little bit of oil in your hands and just doing this up towards the upper thigh is going to help. So just giving the back of the knee a little bit of love. And then release. After I do that, ankle is super warmed up at this point because we've just done so much work with it. So I like to see if I can get the talus to go back in place, because typically that little bone likes to pop out. So if you want to do that, you can just sit on your heels and then you tip back and pull your knees up. And maybe you get an adjustment. Oh, yes. So good. Oh. And then go ahead and take a down dog just so you can feel the difference between the two legs. And come on down, and we'll start the second side. Other leg, starting at the ankle, just plopping the foot right there, hanging out for a second. Probably should have put a cushion under my butt. Like, normally I do this on the carpet. I'm going to grab my phone. We start off with pointing and flexing. Flex and internally, externally rotate. Point, internally, externally rotate. Good. Relax the foot and rotate. Big circles. Switch directions. And then roll it up a little bit. Hang out for a second. Really let that whole foot and lower leg relax. And then flex some points. Flexing, rotating. And feel free to hang out in any areas that feel extra. Point, rotate. Ooh. Relax the foot and rotate. And then circles. Switch directions. And then bring the roller up a little bit. Relax the leg. And then start with that point and flex. flexing, rotating. Pointing and rotating. Oh. Relax the foot, rotate. And then circle. Switch directions. And release. Roll up. So now we're kind of right where those muscles all come together. Ooh, tender. Relaxing to start. And then flexing and pointing. Flex and rotate. Oh, side is so much worse for me. Point and rotate. And relax the foot and rotate. Big circles. Oh. It's like two completely different legs. I mean, they are two completely different legs, but it's like two completely different bodies. Good Lord. But when you think about it, it's this knee has had 4 knee surgeries, and I've shattered this foot in the opposite direction. So of course, the muscles are going to be tighter. They've had just more trauma. Oh, release that. Roll up. Oh. Oh, this poor leg. Point and flex. Flex, and then internally, externally rotate. And point and rotate. And relax your foot and rotate. And then big circles. Opposite direction. Oof. And roll up. So we've just got 2 positions left on this side. And then the knee. Ooh. Flex and point. flex and rotate. I don't feel like I've ever wanted anything to be over as badly as I want this to be over. Oh, that ache, like you just want to jump out of your body. Point and rotate. Relax and rotate. And then big circles. Switch sides. And moving it up. So right where the muscles come in towards the back of the knee, hanging out. And flex and point. Flex, rotate. I don't know if you guys can see that, but right when I externally rotate, I hit a really angry muscle and it just stops. And if I keep pushing, it flops. It's just like, no, 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 black. Clearly, I need to be doing this more. Point and rotate. And the muscle is like so firm, it doesn't even hurt. Like the muscle's like, I don't even care. You can't do anything to me. I have now turned to stone. And relax the foot and rotate. And then circles. Switch directions. And release. Bring it right into the back of the knee and just relax over top. If you're up on something, like a cushion for your butt, come down just for this one because we want a little more hugging of the knee on the foam roll. And then extend and release. And then release off of that. You want to crack an ankle, go for it. You guys hear that? That was wild. It's amazing to me sometimes how like you continue walking when things are like so misaligned, so out of place. Take a down dog. And I know everybody said they've got some low back hip stuff going on. So let's finish with a little like restorative sequence. This whole like new moon, lunar eclipse, Peloton, end of Ramadan, bonfire burning time of year that happened this weekend across like in a 24-hour period. Really kind of blew me out for sure. So I'm exhausted. And I'm very excited for this little restorative sequence. So my bolster is a little sad. It's flippity floppity. So you don't even need a bolster. You can just use your foam roll. I'm going to put my bolster over my foam roll. You can just do a foam roll with like a pillow over it. Just kind of want some bolster foam roll fluffy thing happening here. A more firm bolster is best. And you're going to bring your right hip right up to it. I think we might have done this beginning of last month. I'm not sure. And you're going to lie over top with your right arm in front of the bolster. Your head drops down onto the bolster. And your left arm comes up and over and just hangs. So really subtle, relaxed side body opener, opens up into the shoulder and down into the hip. If this is funky on the neck at all, you can always put a little towel under the head. But in theory, that right shoulder is out in front of you. So the head should be relatively relaxed. Using your breath to see if you can soften a little bit more. Let that low back release. All of this tissue between the left rib cage and the left hip. So you can get that to release. And the left arm is going to come up. And we're going to lean forward into that right arm on the floor. And it's a little tricky if you're rolling. Make sure your bolster doesn't roll away from you. But you're just going to rotate your chest up towards the sky here. So legs stay exactly where they are. My bolster is rolling away on me. And you're just rotating your chest open towards the sky and letting that left arm drop out to the side. So it's a twist. If that is too much on the shoulder, you can always bring the hand down more towards the hip. The higher up, the more intense the stretch will be on the shoulder. And then the left arm is going to pull you up and over onto that right arm again. And we're going to twist into the bolster, either dropping the chest right down into the bolster and the right ear, or twisting the left ear down. Then you bring one hand on either side of the bolster to press yourself up. And then swap sides. So left hip right up against the bolster, left rib cage down onto the bolster, left shoulder in front of the bolster, right arm up and over, dangling. And every breath, you're trying to relax more through the whole right side body down into the hip. And again, if you need support under the head, you can always put a little towel or blanket there. But in theory, again, this shoulder should be in front of you. So the head should be pretty comfy. And the right arm reaches up. Lean into that left side, rotate your torso towards the sky. So your back comes onto the bolster. And right arm drops out to the side. Again, higher up is going to be more intense, lower down towards the hip is going to be less intense. So picking your poison. And then right arm comes up and rolls over. Pushing into the left elbow, twisting around for that nice, juicy, restorative pose. Chest into the bolster, left ear on the bolster or right ear. And one hand on either side, rolling yourself up. Move everything out of the way for Shavasana so that you're nice and flat. And I think that Shavasana is most important after sessions where we've done either rolling with therapy balls or rolling with foam roller, because the body is just kind of spazzing out a little bit, and it's pumped out a bunch of hormones, and the body really just needs a few minutes to lay back and chill. Just taking a second to reset here. Taking a couple of deep breaths. Letting that breath bring some movement into the body. Bending one knee and then the other. Bringing both knees up to the chest. A hug, rock side to side. Rock yourself all the way up. Seated. Closing your eyes, taking a couple deep breaths. And we are just coming out of a new moon. Great opportunity to manifest things, call things into our life, create new habits and patterns. So go ahead and think of one thing that you are going to add to your life as a habit every day that is going to enrich your life in some way. And then let's try to commit to that. I am going to try to roll one part of my body every day for just 5 minutes. That's my thing. Thank you guys for being here with me. Namaste.